Welcome to the New Haitian Generation. I'm your host, Mecca Grimaud Marcelin, and today we are speaking with WILNAR JULMISTE from JULMISTE Légal. Madame JULMISTE, qui j'en est?
Bonjour, moi très bien.
Ah, bonjour, parler créole, haïtien.
Oh, oui.
Of course. I wanted to ask you something. We've never had a personal injury and maritime law professional on the show before, and so it's a pleasure to have you here on the New Haitian Generation, sharing some insight about your profession, especially with the Haitian community and abroad, everybody that we broadcast to.
Thank you. I'm honored. Didn't realize that I was the first.
The first, just like Haiti is the first,
yes,
right?
Right.
So you're
right.
making headlines right now.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
So I was born in Haiti, which is where I learned most of my Creole. I moved to the States in early 90s and originally lived with my grandmother. And shortly thereafter, my mother was granted the opportunity to come to the States. She resided in Fort Lauderdale, so I moved in with her. Okay. And from there, graduated from Fort Lauderdale High School.
So living at home, would you say the Haitian culture has been passed on down to you from living in your environment?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. My parents, my grandparents have been involved in my life and continue to remain involved, and I continue to stay involved in the Haitian community as a result of their influence as well.
What would you say your biggest influences in life, or who is your biggest influence in life?
So, it's a hard one for me. There are two people I can't, ever not think of when I think of my success and what I do now. One, certainly my mother, who has been extremely influential, just extremely resilient, even during difficult times here in the States. I would say without her and her efforts and her encouragement and her willingness to push me as much as she could, I wouldn't be here. And I always, make sure that I let her know that, how much I appreciate her and how she's impacted my life. And the second person that I often talk about is specifically one of my teachers from Fort Lauderdale High School. Because when I was getting ready to graduate high school, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I knew that I wanted to go to college, and I knew that I wanted to be in Tallahassee. Those two things I knew. But my mother, having just moved here from Haiti, wasn't very familiar. She couldn't essentially move me to college. Right. I never visited a college campus, never visited, never seen a dorm room. But I knew that from Fort Lauderdale High School, there was no other step for me except to go to college, to a four-year university. I had only applied to Florida State University and Florida A&M University, got into the schools, but I didn't know how I was going to get to Tallahassee from Fort Lauderdale. And I reached out to that teacher, explained to him that I really wanted to go to one of those schools. I had not applied anywhere else anyway at the time, so I wasn't prepared to stay local because I hadn't applied. And I decided, listen, if he's willing to help and he's able to assist my mom and I, we were going to Tallahassee. And he did that. Him and his wife made the arrangements that were necessary to get me to move into my dorm room in Tallahassee. And I'm forever grateful for him and his wife, because without taking that first step to get my bachelor's degree, I wouldn't be a lawyer now. And I know that sometimes people say, well, you could have gone to a local school. I have to say that experience in Tallahassee was something I really appreciate, because I didn't know that I wanted to be a lawyer until I got to Tallahassee. Wow. I mean, being in the Capitol is just amazing. I met the first attorney that I never met in Tallahassee, interacting with the politicians, interacting with lawyers there, and just being on that college campus at FAMU was just such an amazing experience that opened up my eyes to really decide that I wanted to further my education and go into law.
Wait. Wow, you just dropped a whole load on us right now. So you mean to tell me that when you went to Tallahassee, you weren't going up for a law degree at that time? What were you going for at that time?
I majored in business. Florida A&M University has one of the best business schools in the country. So I went there to major in business. Initially, when I was graduating from Fort Lauderdale High School, just to backtrack a little bit, that's when technology was becoming to be the talk. So at Fort Lauderdale, we were talking about technology, and I thought, maybe I'll major in computer science. but I was also very good in sales and business. I did the sales competitions there. I mean, I would win, get first place there. I would travel to Orlando, represent the school. So I knew there was something in business that I wanted to do, but then I was also kind of leaning towards the computer science, IT area as well. But then I eventually decided, since I selected to go to FAM and the reputation of the business school, that I would major in business, get my bachelor's in business, and then go from there.
So when did you develop this love for law? You know, while you're in Tallahassee and you have this one vision in this business, you know, and then so now you're switching over to law. Is there somebody else there, you know, lawyers there, or maybe the law program that you looked into that, you know,
Right.
got you
It was definitely the law program and the interaction with the lawyers there. Because in Tallahassee, I mean, you're talking about the politicians, the majority have a law degree. Right. So, and at FAM and of course FSU, we did interact a lot with FSU while I was in college. But FAMU has or at least at the time, had a Hatchet Pre-Law Society, which is very, very active. And there you are interacting with lawyers. I mean, they would have speakers, and that was also around the time where we had the election between Bush and Gore. So that was a big deal, and we were talking about the law, the effects, the judges were making decisions. So all those topics happening at FAMU kind of really introduced me to the law and the impact that a law degree can make. I also took a pre-law class at FAMU as well, so that was extremely interesting. And
it's like your first steps.
That was my first steps, and especially being in the Hatchet Pre-Law Society and going to the Block Caucus events and meeting some of the senators, a couple of them from South Florida that were in Tallahassee during the time. I think it was just really very clear that that's probably the route for me to go. Granted, when I was getting ready to complete my junior year, I said, you know what? I am proceeding with a higher degree. I'm not going to just stay with my bachelor's. So that was the first thought. Then after that, it was, what degree then are you going to, you know, are you going to obtain? Are you going for your master's? Are you going for a PhD later on? Like, what's the goal? So when I evaluated all the different options, I decided that law was the best option for me, the degree that would allow the most flexibility, to allow me to practice law, allow me to open my own business if I decide to, allow me to go into academia if I wanted to teach. All those things that I considered in the past, I thought the law degree really covered all those areas.
And we need representation in the Haitian community, not just in the Haitian community. I mean, we need representation, you as a black woman, being a Haitian woman as well. Did you find any adversity going into this field?
Oh, absolutely. But I think that with my background, I mean, even just getting into college, just the steps to get there. I think once you go through that process and you deal with that, you know, the difficulties, and you're ready for whatever may come. So I always say that if I had to fight to get to point A, then I cannot let anything else to get in the way of me getting to point B. And that's how I look at it. It is difficult. It's difficult, and like for me, I've been practicing now for 18 years.
Wow.
You know, I started out practicing in Hollywood. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. When I first started, I was in Hollywood. Then I moved to Boca. You know, I moved to Boca, and my primary office here for my firm is in Boca, but Boca is not the most diverse city. You know, the area. But I think that sometimes you have opportunities to make a difference in those type of communities as well. So even when you're dealing with people from different cultures or people that may not be open to welcoming other cultures in the area, you take that and, you know, use it to your advantage as well, and as an opportunity to make a difference.
Wow. Listen, you must make mommy very proud, because in the Haitian culture, you know, when they're raising their kids, they want you to do what? L'école, l'église, you know, and you being an avocat, there's only a handful of professions that would make our parents proud. You know, like myself, when I was becoming an artist before I became a teacher, my father said, an artist? He's like, what is that? You're not going to make a living. They want us to make a living. They're coming from where they come from. They understand the dynamics. Artists don't prosper, you know, where they come from. So coming here, they don't, you know, understand the dynamics. When you said that you didn't go to Tallahassee with the intention to practice law, So when did you tell mommy, and how proud was she to know that, her daughter would become, was aspiring to become a lawyer?
She was extremely happy. My mom is so proud. Even to this day, if she has to be somewhere, she's going to make sure she makes changes to be there for whatever event I have going on, whatever that she's able to attend. She's always present. She is very, very proud, and I'm so happy that she's still around to really see what I've been able to accomplish. And when I was getting ready to move to Tallahassee, and that was one of the other issues I had, and that happens a lot in the Haitian community. It's, okay, well, you're a young woman, 17 at the time, planning to go to college. Why do you need to go so far? And there's this talk in the Haitian community, at least at the time that I was graduating from high school, that when you move so far, you're not going to be successful. You're going to party, or you're going the wrong route. And a lot of people that move to Tallahassee or move far for college, at least in the Haitian community, they always say, well, things go wrong. And it's very easy for parents, especially like my mom, to hear all the talk from the environment, from the Haitian community, to say, well, maybe they're right. Maybe you should go local. Maybe you should go to a community college here, even if you hadn't applied to a university in South Florida. Just hearing that, the negativity, that could be tempting as well. And she did not let that discourage her. She was right there with me and pushing me and encouraging me to reach my goals.
That's beautiful. Support from the family is very important. I heard you were inducted into the Broward Education Foundation Hall of Fame. Tell us about that, please.
Yes, certainly a huge honor. And that happened last year. End of last year, I was inducted by the Broward Education Foundation Hall of Fame, what we call Distinguished Alumni of Broward County Schools. Wow. So having graduated from Fort Lauderdale High School, I was selected as a Hall of Famer. Wow. For the Broward County Schools alumni.
You actually have a star?
I have a very large star right in front.
Listen, WILNAR, JULMISTE, y'all make sure y'all go see that star. Where's the star at?
The star is right in front of the school board building downtown Fort Lauderdale, across the street from the courthouse, matter of fact, in Fort Lauderdale.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And tell us again, why did they induct you into that Broward Education Foundation Hall of Fame? So
based on my accomplishments and my community involvement and my service to Broward County and the local schools.
What's your passion? What drives you? Because I see you got a lot of life right here. I love it. It's early in the morning, and you're so full of life. And I know lawyers need to be full of life. I heard that you're a stern litigator, and very, you negotiate to the fullest degree. And so, what brings you life?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. I don't take anything for granted. If we're here, we're doing the thing, we might as well do it and do it well. Gotcha. And that's how I look at it. Every opportunity I get to wake up in the morning and get going, start my work, I'm happy. I'm grateful. And I have 3 children. I have 3 young children that look up to me now, that look at me as their model, as their example. So they continue to motivate me, and they keep me on my toes.
What are some of their professions, and are you happy about what they selected? I know it's their life,
yes.
But the same way your mom was hoping that, you didn't go to a party town, and she was so ecstatic when you, selected law practice to be your profession. How are you with your children as well? Yeah,
I think that the kids should be able to kind of explore and make the determination. And our job as parents is to guide them. My kids are still very young. My youngest is 6, then my other 2, 10 and 12. My 12-year-old is starting to talk about college a bit more and career. He's gone back and forth between computer science. My husband is a computer engineer, so he talks about computer science as an option. Talk about just general engineering. He talks about law. So they're still figuring it out. And my 2 boys also play sports. They're very much into sports. So they talk about wanting to be an MLB player. Right. So, generally though, whenever they have to speak and they say, I want to be an MLB player, or they always add that second part, because you got to have another plan aside from sports. So we've been able to work with them, and they always have something. Although it changes at times, they always have a career option in mind in addition to playing sports. Right. And my 6-year-old said she wants to be a scientist. So, and she's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. So we'll see. But the sky is the limit, and as they grow up, we'll continue to guide them, and
Right.
wherever whatever path they choose,
Right.
we'll be there to support them.
And we also got to tell our children that education is not a backup to sports or whatever you might be doing. That needs to be on Front Street.
Absolutely.
If you get injured in that sport, this is not the time to go back to school at that time. You're supposed to already have that under your belt.
Exactly.
And kind of do it at the same time if possible, little by little in increments.
I agree.
Education is the foundation.
Absolutely.
Right.
You could not have said it better.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's what I tell my boys all the time that talk about sports a lot. And that's why whenever we're around, if they mention sports, they always mention what else they want to
Right.
what else they want to do, because it's key.
Right.
And they're starting, especially my 12-year-old, he's starting to really understand that. And even when I talk about school, I'm like, well, this school is so expensive or this and that. He's like, Mom, don't worry. My grades are going to help me to pay my way.
For sure.
So having that attitude, and
Right.
they do very well in school too, helps. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
Education is the key.
Right.
The chances of being injured. I mean, as a personal injury attorney, injury, could happen to anyone.
Right.
But playing sports, the risk is certainly more significant.
Let's go into that right now. Personal injury and maritime law. You hear the name personal injury. We know what that is. It's plain English. But as a lawyer, what is it that you defend?
So essentially at my firm, when we talk about personal injury, we are talking about any type of injury to the body, okay? Whether it's an auto accident, which is extremely common, especially in South Florida, slip and fall accidents, negligent security, which is essentially if you visit a premise and that venue does not provide enough security, and as a result of that negligence, you are injured. For example, you have shootings at bars and restaurants that may result because there's not enough security or the right protocols are not followed.
Right.
So we were talking about that. There could be injuries on yachts, on jet skis.
And they have.
And they happen all the time.
In South Florida, I've seen so many of them happen all the time. How do you get a case like that? What actually happens? Because when I was doing a little research on you also, there's companies that try to, They try to represent themselves sometimes. And because I guess they don't know that there's maritime lawyers out there, people, I know that cars, personal injury, there's that type of injury, but there's so many other things that you can get injured from.
Right.
And so
right.
if you don't know certain other laws, like the maritime law, I thought that was very interesting that somebody also handles, like boating accidents or things that
Correct.
can happen on the waters. And so how did you even go into that field also? Because that's two separate things, or is it the same thing?
Two separate things,
Okay.
although there are some overlaps, because
Okay.
there are injuries on open water,
Right.
which, maritime law, we're talking about open body of water.
Right.
But outside of that, there are still some other issues unrelated to injuries that fall under maritime law. But I started doing maritime law as a result of the prior firm that I was at. So
Okay.
before I opened my firm, JULMISTE Legal, a couple years ago, I worked at another firm for about 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And at that firm, although I did some personal injury as well, I primarily defended insurance companies and large corporations.
Wow.
So then after the number of years of experience defending and representing large corporations, I decided that I wanted to just work with individuals. And that's when I opened my own firm and started focusing a lot on personal injury and, of course, doing some maritime law.
So 3 small children, and you still were interested in opening up your own JULMISTE Legal. I love the name. The name is very powerful.
Thank you.
JULMISTE Legal. Talk to us about that. Raising 3 children. You just told us their ages. They're very young, but you're a lawyer, and I love your tenacity. I love your dedication.
Thank you.
How did you feel that you were going to be able to juggle practicing your own law firm and then also, raising a family?
Definitely a challenge, but I understand that nothing worth obtaining is easy.
Right.
Right. So when I was making the decision a little over 2 years ago, prior to opening the firm, I decided, listen, I can market a lot more as just my own firm, JULMISTE Legal, and I really wanted to work more with individuals. Now, how do I do that? Then I started evaluating, came up with a plan, and I really think that it's great to have your own business. I've always thought about having my own business and running my own firm and being my own boss.
Yes.
And I thought at that time in my life, even though I have the young children, with the right support, with my husband, with having family around, and having the right financial responsibility and preparation, that I was ready. You know, with opening any business,
Right.
I always say you need to be prepared. You know, having done the preparation, having made sure that financially I was doing the right things along the way when I was working for my prior firms,
Right.
that I had the flexibility to do that.
Wow.
And I could take the risk, essentially.
Right. Is there any case that was more heartfelt to you, that you really felt delighted that, or that case was, the outcome of that case was really something that you felt proud about?
You know, I've had a number of them.
Right.
You know, I've had a number
Go
of
ahead and brag, girl. Go ahead, brag, girl. Yes. Yes.
Well,
Success.
you know, and you know, sometimes you have very nice clients, and sometimes you have tough clients,
Right.
and that comes with the business,
Yes.
with running a firm and doing personal injury. And when people are injured, I mean, depending on the injury, it could be a tough situation for them and their families as well. But I have this one client, Haitian client, and I want to mention her without going into too many details, of course. So this client in Broward, she lives in Broward County, and I'm still in touch with her. I represented her about 4 years ago, auto accident, and she was not expecting the amount of money that she recovered. And we were able to get the insurance company to tender the policy limits. And she was so delighted. I mean, she's been one of the greatest advocates for me and my firm.
Wow.
And each year I still speak with her. On her birthday, I've spoken with her. She reaches out to me, asks questions on other issues, and I have no problem answering her questions. And not only that, after I settled the case and she recovered her money, she said, my mom and I, we talked about how we don't have a house in Haiti, and my mom says all her friends have houses in Haiti. That's her goal, to go back to Haiti. And of course, if I have a house down there, when I go visit, I could go back. And this was before a lot of the most recent turmoil down in the country. And she immediately started on that project. And she's so proud and just so happy, and she gives a lot of credit to the results of that case. I mean, although she did suffer some severe injuries, she's really recovered very nicely with the treatment that she received and the guidance that she received from the firm, and she's one of the happiest clients that I've had.
How many clients of yours are Haitian? And how much do you work in the Haitian community?
I do a lot of work in the Haitian community, especially since I opened my practice. In addition to the Boca area, I mean, I get a lot of clients in West Palm, the Lake Worth area, as well as Broward area a lot. So we do have, and of course with my Creole speaking skills, that attracts a lot of clients. I do some programs on the radio as well, sometimes mostly on higher education, around the time that kids are going back to school. So people get to know me through that program as well. And of course with my parents, my family, my husband, the local churches that have supported me as well. I get a good number of Haitian clients that way.
So let me ask you, in the Haitian community, how accessible are you? Like, where do they find you? Is it through cards? Is it through, do you publicize? Is it commercials? How does the Haitian community actually get a hold of you if they needed to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a website, and our number, like I have my cell phone number on my business card. I mean, especially with the Haitian clients, sometimes they want to speak with me directly. So they're able to reach me. But if someone is looking to reach me, they could go on our website, or they could Google. I always say now, Haitian or not, or wherever you're from, everyone has a phone, and they'll go on Google. So if they go on there and they put JULMISTE Legal, they would find my firm. If they put my name, they would find my firm. But our website is very easy, very simple. It's www.julmistelegal.com. So very simple to get to me. Our phone number is also very, very easy to remember. It's 561-210-0234. So I kept it very easy. 561-210-0234 is our number. We just kept it very simple. And on our website, people could find my detailed contact information. They could find our office addresses and my email address. But very simple. JULMISTE Legal is such a simple name to remember, and a lot of the people in the Haitian community, they're able to pull that up. But most importantly for me, because of my cases, the clients that I've represented, the majority of the business that I get are from former clients referring to friends and family.
The referrals, that's what
The
I
referrals,
That's what I wanted to hear.
It's the referrals from the clients. Like the one client that I mentioned to you, and the many others that I've represented, they continue to refer their friends, their family.
Right.
That's my biggest source of business. I don't do a lot of marketing. I don't do a lot of social media, not a lot of that currently, but my work and the clients are really out there and saying all the great things that they experience as a result of hiring the firm. And I've been very blessed to have had a good number of clients to be able to, that are extremely satisfied,
like the
that are
leads.
able to do that. They've been great leads. Also get, some referrals from people that I've built relationships with at my church and other organizations that I'm involved with.
What do you think about the new Haitian generation, the new Haitian Americans living here? You said you were born in Haiti?
I was born in Haiti.
So you came here. How do you see our new, who we're handing the torch over to today?
There's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential. And I think that, for programs like this, which is what I really appreciate, programs like this, like the new Haitian generation, can see some of this. They can follow some of these programs and be inspired. Because I think oftentimes we don't do what we can do because we don't have the guidance. We don't have good examples. We don't have people that are out there pushing us like I had. And without the support of the community, without the teacher, without the great examples, without meeting those community folks in Tallahassee, the politicians and other people that I was interacting with, I would not be able to meet my goals and continue to accomplish greatness. Our Haitian people, whether young or older, we're so resilient and just intelligent. There's so much out there. Like we're really, really smart people. And I don't see a difference as far as our younger generation. They can accomplish and even do bigger things than that I was able to do than our people at the time that I graduated high school.
Right.
I think there's a lot more opportunities out there now. It's just a matter of us younger professionals going out there and interacting with the people and being an example to the people that are coming after us.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the New Haitian Generation. WILNAR JULMISTE from JULMISTE Legal. It has been a great show. We want to welcome you back anytime you want to come back.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing, not just in the Haitian community, but abroad. I love it that you've taken on, Lord, we need more representation in the Haitian community. You are the New Haitian Generation. The New Haitian Generation, your host, Mecca Grimo Marston.